The thing I want to talk about today is the latest tweet I came up with. To me, some of the biggest news is this, is that Paul Tudor Jones, and in my world, which is the not politically correct world, which I won't mention, but he's a god. I mean, not just in the hedge funds, but in the world of what I call real men, Paul Tudor Jones is a god. You know, he's this incredible young, not a young guy, a lot younger than me, but he's a young guy. But he just took a position in Bitcoin, I think is 1 or 2%. Now, that's huge news. You know, and his comment was, Bitcoin today is like gold was in 1971. And so for those who are very young, you know, in 1971, gold was $35. And with the next few years, gold ran up to $850. So for a guy, you know, is a really smart guy, Paul Tudor Jones says, Bitcoin is like gold was at $35. You know, I can only speculate, dream, and all this. And I'll say this again, you know, I'm not endorsing Bitcoin. I'm just anti-Federal Reserve Bank. I'm anti-Wall Street, and I'm anti-corruption. And that's very important. So my tweet, I forget, just a couple of days ago, or today, whatever it was, Paul Tudor Jones buying or endorsing Bitcoin and taking a position in Bitcoin means the US dollar is dying. So all you savers out there, all you people working hard for money and all this, you're the biggest losers of all if you don't get with the program here. On the other side of the coin, you have Warren Buffett, who has 150 billion in cash. And Buffett is an old man. He's a little older than I am, but his ideas are old. So he's sitting $150 billion in cash because he refuses to get into equities because the stock market is too high. Imagine that. Stock market's in a bubble. He refuses to put his money in. Meanwhile, mom and pop got their 401ks where they're counting on their teachers' pensions, which are going bust. And they're sitting there hoping the stock market stays up. Buffett won't get into it. And then Buffett trashes Bitcoin and he trashes gold. So the old guy is trapped between a rock and a hard space, hanging on to all this fake US dollars, billions of them. So about 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, the US, all the US guys in Wall Street started laughing at Japan, you know, because Japan tanked in early 1990. At one time, for those who may not remember this, but the palace gardens, the royal gardens of Japan were worth more than the entire state of California at the top of the bubble. You know, real estate was going through the roof in Japan, just like it was in America a few years ago, and it blew. So Japan never recovered, and they've not done what I call bite the bullet. They've not fixed the problem. They just hang on, and they keep their central bank, the Bank of Japan, keeps buying ETFs. But Americans for 30 years have been laughing at Japan, say, what's wrong with you guys? You're buying ETFs. Well, just yesterday, the US Fed started buying ETFs. There's rumors it's going to buy student loan debt, which is good for the students. But the basic Fed is doing its best to, quote, print money, find a way to make some excuse to create money, to get fake money into the system. Once again, the dollar is dead, it's dying. So when I look at everything out there, you have gold, you have Bitcoin, you have Paul Tudor Jones, you have guys like Ray Dalio of Bridgewater, another stud in the hedge fund world. And he's recommending people buy some gold. Central banks are buying gold. And Bitcoin's on fire right now because, you know, Bitcoin takes a lot of energy, you know, oil, either electricity. So what that means is that the emerging countries with oil, you know, are guys that hate us, like Venezuela has a lot of oil. Iran has a lot of oil. Iraq, Bulgaria have oil. So they're going to start producing Bitcoin cheap because it's the way of beating the corrupt US dollar. So that's why that tweet I put out a few days ago or today, whatever I did, I'm so in the blind today. But this is really bad news for the US dollar. It's bad news for anybody who is working hard for money and saving money and investing money in the US stock market. So the stock market is strong today, I don't think it's going to be strong for much longer. You know, who knows? Nobody knows, because when the crash comes, it just crashes at high speed. So that's really what the tweet was. And again, I'm not endorsing anybody do anything like buy Bitcoin. I'm just saying Bitcoin operates outside the corrupt Federal Reserve US dollar banking system. That's why I love it. And so I don't know who this guy Satoshi Nakamoto is, and he's Japanese like me, but he's probably the only smart Japanese guy out there, so, if he exists. So I think it's a very exciting time, and it's really going to depend upon what you look at the world, how you see the world, and what you're hoping for in the future. A lot of people say, oh, when's the economy coming back? I personally say the economy has moved on. And that's why I tweet. And I end almost every tweet with buy gold, silver, or Bitcoin. And that's just to get out of a very corrupt system that's dying. There's going to be plenty of money in the US because the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, which means most of the world's debt is denominated in US dollars. But that's not going to last much longer. So that's why, if you can, and while you still have the go for gold, silver, Bitcoin, and those who don't have much money, silver today is $15 an ounce. That's 70% below its all-time high of $50. So if gold and Bitcoin make its run, those of you who don't have much money, you still have a shot at silver. So this is not a time to be, buying, holding, and praying fake dollars. So that's why that was that tweet on that. It's really good news. And I'm glad Paul Tudor Jones and Ray Dalio are shifting out, where the old guy, Buffett, is trapped. That was that tweet.